Over 90% of people watching the video will agree with me that Nigeria is in a very bad state economically, and it is causing across all sectors: transportation, food, power supply, services. It has all gone high, and it is even affecting everybody. Both all tribes being affected, all political parties being affected, and everyone is actually feeling the heat in the economy. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about three major things. Firstly, what is causing this hyperinflation in the country? Secondly, what is this government doing to reduce this hyperinflation and restore the economy back to a stable state? And then thirdly, how does this affect the real estate market in Lagos, Nigeria? That's the good, the bad, and the ugly side. My name is Sean Adekule. I'm the lead consultant at World Homes and Properties. What we do on this channel is that we guide you and we also share with you the best ways of how you can take advantage of here in Lagos, Nigeria. Going back in time as at 1974, there used to be a time where a Naira was equivalent to $1, 20 Naira was equivalent to $1. And what was the major reason why this was happening then was because of the fact that we had the oil boom and we kept on importing literally everything. It got so bad that even goods made down in Nigeria, people were not using them because they were quite more expensive. So we had the oil boom, and Naira was doing good. It was much more preferable to import everything. So we kept on importing and importing, and we got to the point whereby Nigeria became very uncompetitive when it comes to importing goods. And then when we had all the oil money coming in, we didn't diversify. Listen to the news 2 weeks ago. The last Ariba reported that they had 50% of their revenue coming from the oil sector. And what was that Ariba investing into? Esports, tourism, entertainment, literally. So they were able to diversify all their oil money into another industry entirely. And we can see literally working for them. Saudi Arabia is literally almost immune to anything that's happening to oil. They can sell their oil at any price. They're literally becoming immune. They are becoming independent of, and they're saying that by in the next 5 to 6 years, they should become totally independent of oil. That means about 80% of the revenue should be coming from the non-oil sector. And then Nigeria, here we are at this point, at this age, at this time, was dependent on oil. We are still even fighting corruption of this same oil. Something that we'll be fighting since 1974, that's about 50 years ago. We're still fighting that same issue to date. So the major issue of this hyperinflation is the fact that we are still dependent on just one sector, which is still our major sector to date for over 50 years ago, and we are not diversifying. And also, we are very good on importation. That's why the past government and this government are trying to cut down on importation. Even the rice we're producing here is still not enough to go around into Nigeria, because of us exporting to neighboring countries. So our major issues, the major cause of hyperinflation is the fact that Nigeria is very, 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 very big on importation, and then our oil sector, our oil revenue is not being diversified at all. Second, what has this government done in order to balance the economy and the currency, our Naira? We can see Bloomberg report shows that there's a depletion in the foreign reserve and an increase of the Naira gaining more strength. In terms of economic crisis, we can see that it is normal, or it is expected, that the country draw from their foreign reserve in order to stabilize the currency, because in terms of economic crisis, the markets do bet against the currency. So what this drawing from foreign reserve does is that it helps stabilize the currency so much that the investors that CBN is trying to bring in, because CBN governor and the Minister of Finance, they're having meeting with portfolio investors, foreign direct investors, now to bring in their investments into the economy. So when they're able to stabilize the currency to a very good point, then these investors are okay, we want to also invest in the country. So when they bring their money in, they cannot stabilize the economy back. So it is expected, I think it is quite reasonable for them to deplete the foreign reserve to some extent, make the currency gain, the Naira gain a very good value, and then the investors are trying to bring in can come into the economy. And also, one thing I will say is that even if these investors bring in their investments or bring in their funds into the economy, we have to understand that any kind of factory that's starting, any kind of business that starts, going to be very, very dependent on power supply. Because even the factories, even the business you have here in Nigeria are literally we don't still have a very stable power supply. So power supply being very stable, being very good, is going to encourage and even make more investors make their investments stay in this market for a very long period of time. Another very bold step, or should I say very meaningful step, the CBN has taken is recapitalization of the bank. And we all understand that they are not doing this, or they are not setting these high targets for the banks because the banks are not highly capitalized. The banks are actually very highly capitalized, but they are telling them that don't use your retail earnings, don't use your shareholders funds. They want them to bring in new dollar into the economy. So Zenith Bank already led. Zenith Bank was like, we're going to go to international markets, and that means they're going to bring in FX into the economy. They're bringing in dollar into the economy. So one major challenge I feel this will have is the fact that we're going to be having diasporas or non-Nigerians being major shareholders of Nigerian banks, or let's say elites, because literally right now I don't see most elites looking at the Nigerian economy, they want to invest or buy a large chunk of the bank shares, or let's say some elites that want to even buy it. So looking at either foreigners or either the elites, I mean the old money set of people holding and owning a very large share of Nigerian banks. That's going to be the major challenge with this. But it's also a very bold step, because of the bank bringing dollars to the economy, and I'm sure that the bank will be able to achieve this in the space of just 1 year. So I think this should add more stability to the currency. Now, what is the major impact of this hyperinflation on houses and lands for sale here in Lagos, Nigeria? I'm a property broker, so I help my clients get properties they want to own, they want to sell here in Lagos, Nigeria. So the first major impact has been on off-plan projects. Developers that probably got some funds last year, early last year, mid last year, and they start building immediately, they're going to be getting their hands burnt very, 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 very much. Now, why did I say this? Cement price went from as high as 500 naira to as high as 15,000 naira, and the kind of bronze banks are around 10,000 naira. So even with the price coming down, there's already a difference of about 5,000 naira on the price of just only cement, and then every other single produce material has gone up. Now, you got money from investors, you sold the upper projects to them, let's say about 7 cm for each of your, let's say, your terrace duplex, 4-bedroom terrace duplex. And then now, some clients have paid about 50%, that's they paid about 5 million naira. Some clients have paid about 60 million, some clients have paid all the money to you. And then you're not going to the market, don't start building now. Because when they pay to you as a 2023, let's say 2023, April or January or even June, you didn't start building immediately. And then now you want to start building now. And then you can see that you can see the difference between the price of what you have budgeted for building materials before and now. So if you own any off-plan project in Lagos, Nigeria, I think you should just a developer, or most likely they will send you a new contract asking for a little bit of increase in the payments, or probably they will give you a refund back literally, because any developer that wants to deliver has to just find a way around it. If they don't start building before, that's find a way. That's why I like one of our personal company I do work with. They launched a project as at 2022 December, and then they were building rapidly. You know, it depends on how the developers are getting their capitals actually. So they already had their capitals down about 6 blocks in total. By May, June 2023, they've already delivered about, you can see, nothing less than 3 blocks standing. 3 blocks were fully standing, done with 3 blocks. 1 block was fully completed, fully furnished, guys were ready to move into that particular block, and then the other 2 or 4 blocks were remaining. They were already building them very, very rapidly. So any developer that does not have a capital ready, depending on investors when to come and start building their off-plan projects in this particular economy right now, is not going to be favorable for them at all, because things are not even the way they used to be. They're not the way they used to be at all. Things are increasing almost literally every day. We can see dollar going from about 1,400 to about 1,200 within the space of 24 hours. Building materials is going high, everything is going high. So even the amounts you pay workers to work on site so as well, their services are going up so as well, because day to day electric transport to the sites, they're going to feed, and everything is high on the high side. So any off-plan projects and investment in Lagos, Nigeria, they are buying from a credible developer, they already have his capital, not depending on your 2 installment payments, your 5M installment payments, your 3M coming in. They should already have the capital down to build that off-plan already. Now, secondly, increase in development levy. Now, if they say that you should buy land, for instance, now in Ekpe, and the development levy is going to be around 1 million naira, you have to understand that now if they are really interested in development of that estate, I'm talking about drainage, power supply, maintaining of the estate, the flood and everything. Just understand that they're going to have to increase the developmental levy. So if you bought an estate before, and the developmental levy is about 1M, 1.5M, 2M, just find a way. If the net increases, just find a way and go and pay now, and then get your allocation and get everything from the company land. That's the best thing you can do. Pay and get allocation. Because if you don't get your allocation right now, they will increase the developmental levy, because that's actually understandable. Because I'm not the one that wants to use them to develop the estate or maintain the estate for you. So they will increase the developmental levy, and you don't get your allocation, they will increase the price of developmental levy. So right now, if you have any form of developmental levy or strategy charges, even land bureau increase the price of survey fee. Now, survey fee that used to be around 500k in Ekpe is going so far as 1.5 million in Ekpe right now. So you have to understand that there has been increase. Even allow land bureau increase the price of survey fee. That can developers can obtain building permits, obtain layers permits, obtain gatehouse permit, obtain LDO permits, and they're going to be increasing them these fees so as well. So even the state government is increasing the fees of all these permits. So developers are going to also increase the fees so as well. Developmental levy, strategy charges, so that's the developmental levy, these are assignment documents, your survey fee, they're going to be increased this period. So if you have any kind of contact with any developer or any company or any contractor, reach out to them, clear your fees and get your documents out, get your allocation done to you, either your house units or your plot of land that you invested with them, Lagos, Nigeria. The third and final point is that the price of house for sale are going to be doubled, and even the price of rent is also going to be doubled. Why the client that reached out to us on February, why the client that reached out to us in February, it was on Tuesday, and then by the following week Tuesday, the house went from about 105 million to 135 million naira, and we were able to negotiate about 125 million naira for the client finally for the house. He reached out to us. We were going back and forth with the developer, because that was the period where Naira was just inflating the Naira. And the developer just took a bunch of that. It was not the developer that owns the house. It was a secondary sale. The developer already sent somebody else as off-plan project. When the plan was completed, and they were counted to buy, the woman was like, she's not selling again, and she has to increase the price. And the client just had to buy that particular 125 million naira. So these are houses that were built as cement. Cement was 5,200 naira. That cement was 5,200 naira. Even that building material was still low. Now imagine houses. The developers said the one they have in markets now. You're not gonna build a new project entirely. That's fresh project entirely into the market. Now then they buy cement as 8k, buy cement as 10k, buy cement as 12k, buying iron, buying road, buying everything at the new price in the market. So imagine they're selling old prices at almost like 10M, 15M. Bungalows are going from 25M to 35 million naira. Terraces are going from 65M to about 75 million naira. Now imagine at the old prices, they're already increasing by about 10 million naira, 15 million. Now imagine when we now start delivering new houses as about, let's say, August, September, November, December, we're going to be seeing that the house probably cannot offer the terrace duplex of about 70 million in the market anymore. Something like Orchid. So you have to, before you get the terrace, you're going to go something like Shimotedo, Abijo, and further down like that into Lagos, or probably somewhere on the mainland like Sherry North Jari, going towards Ogun State and the likes. And then house rents are actually, one thing you notice about house rents now is that people are living and moving towards the outskirts of Lagos. If you are not someone that has something you're doing, like a white collar job you are doing, or you're not someone that is probably into one or two legal stuff, people that have their own personal business and they are kind of, should I use the word, they're kind of volatile, people are now moving to the outskirts of Lagos. I've seen this happening. People, because someone like Shirley, rental is going from like, let's say, like 2.5M to 4 million naira, and then landlord tell that if you cannot pay, you have to move on. And so there's someone that wants to pay for that same cheap bedroom apartment you are living in. Someone like Shirley, like Bode Thomas, Aguda, house rent are usually increasing, and people are now moving towards somewhere like, let's say, Ogun State, all these Aton, Mobi. People are going further down to the way they can still get affordable housing for themselves. So rental is going on, property for sales is also going on as well. So those has been the major effects of the exchange rates. And then finally, let me say this, there are also people that are taking very good advantage of this period. I know with clients that during this inflation period is sending about some very good dollars, and then he bought very large hectares of land for farmland. He bought very large hectares of land, and then during this period too as well, most diaspora Nigerians were just buying houses because they knew that the window is a very little window. You have to understand that there is a very, very tiny window, and then it won't be like that. So if the dollar can't get to 2k or 3K or per to change in Naira. It can't be that. Even though it's that, it can't be that like that very long period of time when you have a reasonable government or a government that is still working. So you have to understand that that window of exchange rates, that from that 1.4K to 1.8K is a very small window, or from 1K to 1,800 naira is a very small window. So people, so there's some very smart diaspora Nigerians that took advantage of that period, of that small window, and they were sending in dollars to other parties down here in Lagos, Nigeria at that period of time. Imagine you want to buy a house of 7 million naira, and then you add dollar going from 1K to 1,100 naira, and then deposit about 50%, or let's say about 80% of that house. That was already paid about 50 million naira or 55 million naira for that particular house you want to buy. So imagine how much you have left to pay. Even though Naira come down back to 1,000 naira to a dollar, you still have very good amount of money with you. The currency about whatever you still want to buy here in Lagos, Nigeria. And the people that bought dollar at $1 at 1,300 naira or at 1,700 naira, you have to understand that right now you're already costing their hand points. Unless if there's another cycle that opens, they cannot exchange their dollar back to naira that rate. But if that cycle does not open anytime soon, you just have to like keep the money in dollar. And keep your money in dollar because you cannot spend that money in anywhere else. Because even in the UK, in the US, your dollar, your money is, there's also inflation in those parts of the country, and you're not even staying there so as well. So the best you can do right now is just leave that money in dollar, because converting back to naira, you might have converted you might have converted your 6M, and then you went as high as 1.9 million, and then now back I guess like 3 million naira or 4 million naira. You already even lost on that little exchange rate window. So you can see that holding the naira or holding the dollar, holding the naira is looking kind of tangible right now. And then that's why Nigerians understand that whenever there is that little window of the exchange rate is going high or the naira not being able, you understand that's the time for you to carry your savings and then invest in property back in Lagos, Nigeria, and then invest for the long term. Nigeria is not where you come and be a spectator. The market is not something you can be a spectator in. Invest for the long term in Nigerian markets. My name once again is Oladesun Tadekunle. I'm lead consultant at World Homes and Properties. You can always reach out to us for your guidance and consultancy on the Lagos real estate market. Bye for now, guys. Cheers to business.